There's a muscle in our body that produces nearly 8 times our body weight during push-off when we're running. Do you know which muscle that is? If you guessed the soleus muscle, you would be correct. In this video, we're going to talk about this often underappreciated muscle and start appreciating it more to help us prevent injuries, whether they are sports related or not. This is because the soleus muscle is responsible for helping us walk, run, and honestly everything that we need to do in our day-to-day life. Despite this, our soleus muscle is so very rarely in the limelight and so often overlooked because in my opinion, it could be because it stays hidden under our two-headed gastroc muscle. Because it hides under our gastroc muscle, it is often overshadowed by seemingly bigger muscles like our glutes, quads, and hamstrings. But did you know that our soleus muscle, even though it stays hidden in our lower leg, it is actually the muscle with the largest cross-sectional area in our leg? There's a high correlation between Achilles injuries like Achilles tendinopathy, linked with the weak soleus muscle. There's also evidence that shows that the soleus being weak could be the main cause for slowing down masters runners, instead of weaker hips, knees, as we may otherwise have thought. So instead of doing lots of squats and lunges only, we may instead need to start doing more of the exercises that I'm about to show you in this video. If you are someone who is a masters runner or have friends who are masters runners, you may want to share this video with them so they don't neglect these extremely important exercises. And as promised, here are my top 4 exercises to help you strengthen your soleus muscle to get the most out of this large and strong muscle in our body. So the first exercise is going to be the against the wall bent knee calf raises. So we're going to go against the wall. Back is going to be against the wall with your back completely on the wall. We're going to go into a little bit of a squat, so then your knees stay bent. Arms can be on the side there just for extra support. And what we're going to be doing is just going up onto our toes into a calf raise. So when we're coming up onto our toes, we want to make sure that we're going up and not forward. And also when you're coming up onto that calf raise, make sure we're coming up onto all of the toes and we're not going out to the side. Coming up onto all of the toes without scrunching your toes and come back down. Coming up into that calf raise and come back down. And I like to prescribe 3 sets of 15 where you're doing that exercise. So this is the bent knee against the wall calf raises. If this is too easy, a progression you can do is you can do it single leg. Easily, just pick up one leg and the exact same thing up onto all of the toes without scrunching and come back down. Up onto the toes, come back down. If you're not used to doing this kind of exercises, your soleus can be very shaky. So the second exercise is the off the step soleus calf raise. So this exercise is a little bit different than the previous one because this one we can go into more of a stretch of the calves before coming up onto our toes. So this is just a little bit harder than the previous one where your back is supported. And then when you're doing this, you also get to lengthen that muscle as well. So you need a stair or a step to do this. So basically, I like to have my support in front. Same thing like the previous one, you want to keep your knees slightly bent. And initially, go into that stretch. So your heels are slightly off of the step. You're going to come up onto your toes, the exact same way how we did it on the other exercise. Come down slow into that stretch, and then come up. Again, come down slow into the stretch, and come up. Like the previous exercise, we don't want to scrunch our toes, and we also want to make sure we're coming up and not forward. So this is a very common mistake that people make, is that people, they like to go forward when they're doing this exercise. Make sure we're going up. And then come back down and up. Come back down. Again, if this is too easy, feel free to do it single leg. The exact same thing, come into the stretch. And then come back up, come into the stretch, and come back up. So you want to do this exercise, start with 3 sets of 15, and then you can progress or regress as needed. If it's too hard, you can do less reps. If it's too easy, feel free to do it up to 3 sets of 20 reps. So the third exercise I'm going to show you is the Soleus Slouch. So this exercise, we're going to be working the soleus muscle isometrically. And like I mentioned previously, the soleus muscle, because it's made up of all slow twitch fibers, so this exercise is really going to test the endurance of your soleus muscle. So this exercise as well, if you're not used to this, is very common that you're going to be shaking a lot when you're doing this. So this is how it goes. So you're going to be in a staggered stance, and the front leg is going to be your working leg. So again, you want it to be in a little bit of that calf raise, but this time that calf raise is going to be very minimal. So the distance between the floor and your heel is just going to be like a credit card distance apart. So very, very minimal. So a slight calf raise. Try to be light on the back foot. All you're going to do is completely slouch down with that little bit of that calf raise, and then you're going to drive that front foot down of this leg and then come back up. Make sure that this knee stays about aligned to the front of the toes there. And then same thing, slouch down. Really drive and push that front foot into the ground for you to come back up. And then again, if you are weak in this, you're going to be very, very shaky. But I've been practicing, so for me, it's a little bit better than before. So again, a little bit of a calf raise, very minimal. Make sure all the toes are being pushed down into the ground, and make sure we're not scrunching our toes. So again, like this, and one more time. So with this exercise, try to do about 3 sets of 10 reps. So the fourth exercise is the split squat with a soleus raise. So I make up all of these names kind of on the spot. So basically, you want to be in a split stance position. You're going to be doing similar to a split squat, where normally you would be coming down into a split squat like this, but this time, because we want to work the soleus muscle, we're going to go up into that calf raise slightly again. So again, that distance between the heel and the floor is going to be just a credit card distance apart, so very, very little. And so the exact same thing of how you normally do a split squat, just a little bit of that heel being lifted. Come down, again, drive that front foot into the ground without scrunching the toes, and again, come down, drive that front foot into the ground to come up. So this is going to be more of a compound exercise where you're going to be strengthening the soleus and also your quad, your glute. So it's a great exercise to do. So this one I like to prescribe 3 sets of 12. So those were my top 4 exercises to help you strengthen your soleus muscle. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like button, and you can subscribe to my channel for future videos from me. Bye for now. Thanks for watching.